All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little preview of 49er mandatory minicamp. We'll be down there later today in Santa Clara watching as the 49ers gather. Now, we're going to talk about a number of things, a couple of headlines, 30 guys that we're really excited to see of the 90 men who will be there or who are at least on the off-season roster for the 49ers. And then we'll talk about some of the big stories that could be percolating today in Santa Clara. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So go to Pig and a Pickle, say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. Get the brisket chili, and enjoy Pig and a Pickle. And, of course, this video is brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Check them out, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, on the Monterey Peninsula. Call my good friend Anthony Catania down there at 831-521-5264. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Niners mandatory minicamp. It goes on today and tomorrow. I'll be down there for the next couple of days in Santa Clara checking out the mandatory minicamp. This is the one, obviously, that, we're going to find out today pretty much right away. Is Christian McCaffrey have an issue with his contract? It was speculated at the voluntary minicamp that was the reason he missed. Then there was some pushback saying, no, that's not why he missed. Well, if he's not there today, we'll pretty much know that there is some kind of contractual issue between Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers. McCaffrey, the highest paid running back currently in the National Football League. So we got that to look for today, which is nice, as they say. And then, of course, are we going to see Brandon Ayuk? Is he going to continue to hold out? I would expect he will not be there. That would be my guess. But if he's there or not there, that also is a big story today because he remains unsigned. And obviously, Ayuk is one of the great receivers in the NFL. All right, let's get to 30 players I'm really excited to see and why. I'll just run it down the list. Quarterback-wise, really excited to see Brock Purdy. Why? Because he's done a lot of work in the offseason. He's gotten stronger. He looks like he's gotten a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit, done some lifting for sure. He's definitely done some reps on the field with his young receivers. And I'm eager to see, do we see that increased suddenness in Purdy's game? The other quarterback I'm really eager to see is Tanner Mordecai, just from the standpoint of, last year, 2 years ago, the Niners discovered Purdy. This year, it feels like they've discovered Mordecai. And we'll see if Mordecai is just a camp arm or if he's a guy that could potentially, in July, steal a job from Brandon Allen or Josh Dobbs. I'm really eager to see those two quarterbacks for sure. Running back-wise, I'm really eager to see J.P. Mason. I think this is his year. Everybody loves J.P. Mason except for the Niners, it seems. Everybody wants to see him out there running the ball. He's an impressive runner. I thought he looked impressive in the last minicamp. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's eager to get out there. I'm eager to see him. I think this is the J.P. Mason bust-out year. So Mason's on my list of exciting players to watch for. Isaac Guerendo. Does Guerendo, who's going to be, hard, it's going to be hard-fought for Guerendo to get a roster spot because there's no easy roster spot at running back or at fullback. What is he? Can he play fullback? Can he play receiver? Can he be a return man? Does he have a role? Can he beat out the existing running backs? Guerendo's ascension, I think, is going to be something to watch for. Cody Schrader, just from the standpoint of, there's a lot of people that feel like Cody Schrader is one of those guys that if you let him in your building, you'll never get him out, that he's such a great competitor and such a great teammate and worker and, football player in so many ways that, he's an impossible guy to cut. Well, we'll see. I thought he looked better in the last minicamp than he did in the first minicamp. Is he a steal as an undrafted rookie free agent running back? I think he is, but we're going to find out. I'm excited to see Patrick Taylor. I was, eager to see Taylor in the last minicamp, and I thought he looked really athletic. I'm not sure what position he plays, but he's a running back, but is he a starting running back? Is he a backup running back? Is he a fullback? Can he catch it? What are his strengths of his game? He's big and athletic and rangy. There's no question about that. He looks the part. So I'm eager to see more of Patrick Taylor. I'm eager to see Brandon Ayuk if he shows up. I'm eager to see Ricky Pearsall. Can Pearsall continue to, kind of carve out a role for himself as a rookie in this offense? Can he take a big hit over the middle? Jacob Cowing, how does he look with all the veterans out there and going up against, veteran NFL caliber corners? And the Niners have some good ones. So I'm looking forward to seeing Cowing. I'm looking forward to seeing Danny Gray. Can Danny Gray, another guy in his year where it's absolutely go time for Danny Gray, can he find that speed and health? And stay healthy. I mean, he's got the speed, we know it. He's got the explosiveness. Can he stay healthy? Can he take a hit and stay on the field? How about Braden Willis? Can he block defensive ends? Can he really play the tight end position? Can Cam Latu bounce back from what was an ugly um, preseason and training camp last year and kind of show himself for what he was, which was a third round pick and highly thought of? Mason Pline, is he going to continue to improve? Is he going to show things? I mean, he's smart, he's big, he's athletic. Really eager to see what Mason Pline looks like, especially with the 49ers newest player there. That's another guy I'm really looking forward to seeing, Logan Thomas, if he's here. Mike Garafolo had the report yesterday the Niners have signed Logan Thomas, so they're his fifth team in four seasons that he's played for. It's interesting. 10 years ago, they drafted this guy out in the fourth round, and he moved to tight end. Didn't see a lot of work with Buffalo or Detroit. Then caught his break in Washington. He caught 72 of 110 targets for 670 yards and 6 touchdowns in the 2020 season. Those are all his career highs. Then that was his breakout year. Then he missed 6 games in 2021 with a hamstring injury. Then he missed 2 games. Now 2 games into his return from the hamstring injury in 2021, he tore his ACL. He came back to have 323 yards and 3 touchdowns in 2022. And then last year he had a bigger role in the Commanders offense. He had targeted 78 times. He caught 55 balls for 496 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's a veteran. He turns 33 this summer. He's definitely gives the 49ers another veteran tight end. He's 6'6". He's a big red zone target with good hands. So I'm really eager to see Logan Thomas and Mason Pline, who are 2 big wide receiver size tight ends that should really help Brock Purdy. So I'm looking forward to seeing Pline. I'm really looking forward to seeing Logan Thomas. Spencer Burford, a big year for Spencer Burford. Can he establish himself as right guard? Dominic Pooney, looking forward to seeing him. Can he win that battle with Burford and Feliciano at right guard? Jarrett Kingston. Does Kingston have the ability to step in for Jake Brendel at center? If not Kingston, does Drake Nugent have the ability to step in for Brendel and compete for that center job? Brendel's out right now with knee tendonitis. So those are some of the guys I'm looking forward to seeing on the offensive side. On the defensive side, Malik Collins. Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott, were brought in to replace Eric Armstead. And, what do these guys look like? Do these guys look like starters or do they look like rotation players? I'm really eager to see a couple of the backup defensive tackles, Shaquille Brown, who's got great size, speed, strength, and Evan Anderson, who looks like a revelation at 315 pounds after playing too heavy, really, at 360 at Florida Atlantic. Those 2 guys, I think, have huge talent and potentially can make this roster. The Maryland kid that the Niners signed late last year, Sam Okawayonu, who's a defensive end. He's super athletic, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Jalen Graham, to me, is a star. And I think he's just going to be a fantastic linebacker, and I'm looking for him to kind of establish himself as kind of the front runner to competing with Devondre Campbell for Campbell's spot, which is Greenlaw's spot now that Greenlaw's out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Jalen Graham. A couple guys in the secondary, Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa. Can either of those guys cover well enough to play free safety? If not, how about Jalen Mahoney, the undrafted safety out of Vanderbilt? Eager to see him. And then corner-wise, I mean, I think there's a lot of young corners that you should keep your eye on between Darrell Luter, who looked phenomenal in the last minicamp, Bernardo Green, who also looks good on the practice field, Isaac Yadam coming off his career year, Rock Yassin, the veteran who comes in. Is he healthy? Sammy Womack, the third. Can he get it going? Ambry Thomas, Chase Lucas. I mean, there's really a bunch of corners that you want to keep your eye on if you're down in minicamp, just because there's that competition is going to be fierce. Now, there are 7 teams in the NFL that have hired new head coaches this offseason. The Raiders are the 8th team, even though they don't have a new coach. They elevated Antonio Pierce from interim to full time. So you've got Pierce in Vegas. You've got Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers, Raheem Morris with the Falcons, Gerard Mayo with the Pats, Dave Canales with the Panthers, Mike McDonald in Seattle, Dan Quinn with the Commanders, and Brian Callahan in Tennessee. Those teams all have brand new head coaches. Now, there's also 15 new offensive coordinators and 16 new defensive coordinators. And that's one of the things we'll be watching for in Niner camp, with Nick Sorensen being one of the 16 new defensive coordinators. The other thing I think that we are going to be keeping an eye on are just the new special teams rules. The NFL owners agreed to dramatic changes to the kickoff format this offseason. The modifications call for all the players on the kicking team to line up at the receiving team's 40-yard line, while the receiving team lines 9 players up on its own 35. 2 men will then line up downfield as kick returners, and the kicker will still kick off from his own 35. The kickoff team defenders will not be permitted to move until the ball hits the ground in what they're calling the landing zone inside the receiving team's 20-yard line. If the ball hits short of the landing zone, it would be moved to the receiving team's 40-yard line, just as if a kickoff sailed out of bounds in the past. Touchbacks would call for the ball to be moved to the receiving team's 30-yard line. So minicamp's going to, give us our first extended opportunity for NFL players to learn the new techniques and the new plan from their special team coordinators of how to line up, where to line up, how to execute the modified play. Teams have been experimenting through OTAs. There'll be more experimentation, I guarantee you, with this throughout the mandatory portion as well. So this is a big, big change. As far as the 49ers, some things that we're looking for. I mean, obviously, is CMC going to hold out? That's the big one. Is Brandon Ayuk going to hold out? That's another big story as well. The 49ers with as of this week, the Eric Armstead release hit their cap. So their cap went from $8.24 million to $25.25 million, according to the over the cap.com website. So they got a $17 million cap increase overnight. So the Niners cap space currently ranks 11th in the NFL. The Patriots lead the NFL with $46.4 million in available cap space. But the Niners right now are 11th in cap space. So that's going to be interesting. Of course, the 49ers eventually are going to sign Brock Purdy. I would imagine they're going to roll over a big portion of that cap space. A lot of people are like, what are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with their cap space? They're going to roll it over. When you think of Brock Purdy's contract looming, that's probably going to be north of $50 million. So there's no question the Niners rolled over $38 million of last season's unused cap into 2024. And I would imagine they're going to try to do a similar deal this year and try to preserve, the strategy will next year be to sign Brock Purdy and try to preserve your core. So they're going to try to roll over as much money as possible. John Lynch was quoted basically saying, hey, we always look at the cap, from 3 years out. And, he's like, obviously we have all that room this year, but really it creates room for future years. So that's probably what they're going to do. They're probably not going to utilize their cap. They're probably not going to go for a big time signing of any note. They're probably just going to roll over a lot of that money to next year. So I think that's pretty much what to look for on that front. And then the other thing with the 49ers is, you're always looking to see, does anybody stand out? Does anybody jump out and surprise? It was reported this week the 49ers have the oldest roster in the league with an average age of 27 years old. It's a little deceptive because there's like 3 starters and 2 or 3 backups that are in that 30 plus range. But for the most part, the 49ers still have a lot of younger players scattered throughout their roster. So to me, I want to see the tight end today. I'd love to see CMC and Ayuk show up. I'd like to see Dominic Pooney take steps forward on that offensive line, maybe towards a starter job. Love to see that group of cornerbacks all really shine. Love to see Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing continue to make plays on the practice field. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for. Obviously you're trying you're looking for the new defensive coordinator, how his defense looks. We're going to be looking at special teams and the experimentation that goes on with the new kickoff rules and the new format this year. So there's a lot to check out. And then, there's always the surprise, right? I just listed for you a bunch of different things that I'm looking for, but invariably I'm going to go down there and there's going to be some surprise. Some player I wasn't banking on is going to look good. There's going to be some story that I wasn't anticipating, and that's the excitement of today. But that's our little mini camp preview. I'm off to Santa Clara. Check us out later today. We'll be doing more stuff on the Krug Show with videos and breakdown from mandatory minicamp. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring the video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.